Well, good evening and welcome everybody to the Community Matters meeting, Wednesday, 26th of June at 7:30. Just a few housekeeping bits and pieces to get out of the way. So we're not expecting any fire alarms today, but if you do hear one, it would be an actual one. So our fire exits are down the stairs and we've got the other exit here, but please do not use the lifts. Our meeting and fire evacuation part is over in the car park just across the road. Okay, and then second bit in terms of recording of meetings, we've got the standing orders 4.1.3, but in summary, in essence, if nobody or if any members of the public don't wish to be recorded or filmed during the town council meeting, just to let me know and I can let you know where to sit. The camera at the moment is just pointed on ourselves here. Okay, on to agenda item number 2, apologies for absence. So we have apologies from Janet and Jenny, who are both away at the moment, and also from Martin, who is still suffering from some ill health at the moment, and Bob as well. We've just received some apologies from Bob as well. On that basis, I've asked Mike to step in and deputise for Bob, yeah, just to make sure that we're okay with our numbers.
Can I ask you what the numbers are?
3 for community matters. Yeah, we've not actually got any grants this evening, though, so we wouldn't necessarily need to, we haven't got anything to vote on either, so we would normally be okay, but it's 3 for community matters for us.
Okay, so can I just ask you a question? Do you mind if on that subject?
Yeah, of course.
Why is Mike Johnson deputising instead of one of the members of the committee, David Gunnell? Mind me asking you that so I can understand it?
David is a member of the committee. Yes,
I appreciate that. So why isn't he acting as deputy instead of someone who's not on this committee?
It's just in terms of numbers. So we need 3 for the committee. So
I'm
Mike,
deputy chair of the committee.
Yeah,
you are. That's what I was asking. Actually.
Yeah. Sorry.
Yeah, no, that's what I was checking.
Yes.
Thank you.
Yeah. So yeah, chairman, deputy chair, and then sort of Mike's addition would make us call it for.
He's substituting. Yes.
Yeah.
Fine. Thank you. Thank you.
No problem. Okay, declaration, item number 3, declarations of councillors' interests and any request for dispensation. If I could go around, Roger.
None that I'm aware of. None that I'm aware of.
None that I'm aware of.
And none that I'm aware of, so we are all fine. Okay, item number 4. Oh, got just keep an eye on stage acting, just in case any questions come in from Gary there. So our verbal update, we're kind of sharing this around now in terms of where we are, with each of us having sort of, different things that we're looking after. So if I first come to the Lake Ground survey, and David.
Thanks, Ellen. So the Lake Ground survey has been going on for 4+ months now. About 52-hour slots have been covered down at the Lake Grounds by councillors, officers and some volunteers. I think around 350 interviews have been conducted in the most recent update in early June. The school summer holidays are coming up. I'd like to say a big thank you to all the volunteers who helped us out of the shift with Alliance Volunteer a couple of weeks ago, and we've got other volunteers from the community that are helping out with this work. So it's carrying on. Really important to get a sense of visitor numbers and views over the summer period. Yeah, definitely, because that will add to the other sort of demographics and time slots that we've got as well, isn't there? So yeah, that's fine. Okay, but anything else to cover on that one, David? No.
Is it worth just pointing out that there are 3 time slots a day: 9 till 11, 1 till 3, and 3 till 5. And normally covered by 2 personnel, one doing the accounts and one doing the interviews. And it's busy. The Lake Grounds are busy right throughout the season.
Yeah,
seasons.
It's the provision, isn't it, that we need to make sure that we've got all of that feedback feeding into when North Somerset start to send their tenders out later this year.
Mhm.
4.2 is on the waste bins. So pleased to report that now with some of the restock of the waste bins that they've got coming back into North Somerset, they've managed to replace all bar one of the ones which were removed from the high street. So that means we've got the one back in St Peter's Road, just outside the shop there. We've got the one outside the Port Bar in the precinct that's gone back in, the one outside NatWest on the high street, the one that was removed from Avon Way, the top of Avon Way as well. The only one that we're missing now from the high street is the Aldi end of Worthington Walk. And once they've got their new restock, that one is destined to be replaced as well.
Can I just ask, the ones that were removed, were they Portishead Town Council ones?
There was
Logoed?
There was a mixture.
There was a mixture.
Yeah, all removed because of health and safety concerns with sharp edges and the like. But yeah, they I think they did remove 2 of the town council bins, and the rest were under their own banner.
The replacements are all just generic ones.
They
are
are. They are for the moment. Yeah. Sorry, David.
There's still one missing on the front, and we're working on providing evidence that's going to be used. I suspect that's going to cause a problem.
Yeah.
In the summer period.
And the size as well. We've already noted that it's what we did have there wasn't large enough. So yeah, that's gone in on Nicky's report as well. Okay, the next 4.3 is the update on questions asked at the public by the public at the residents' meeting on the 15th of May. We aren't able to cover this at the moment due to the election restrictions. But one of the items which we have sort of pulled out into its own summary is the sort of the required safety improvements at the marina. And just to sort of update, we did update everybody during the last meeting. The actions from that resulted in the town council sending a letter to Joe Walker and the executive team at North Somerset, requesting, amongst other things, the reports that they'd received in terms of the undertaking from the coroner's report and some of the other material that they had in terms of their risk assessment. So they responded with that, and also given us a bit of a summary in terms of where and what their standpoint is at the moment. We as a council have convened a working team on that, and we are due now that we have had that response on Monday. Monday it came in. We can actually now sort of formally get that working group together. So aside obviously the review of the information that they provided us, we also want to make sure that we've got the that element in the public engagement meetings that will be kicking off as of July once we're out of the election period as well. So we want to make sure that it's obviously the town that are really inputting in terms of what we need to cover and what if any safety improvements are going to be made there as well. So it's a bit of a case of sort of a watch and wait for the moment, but yeah, we'll certainly make sure that this is on the community matters agenda going forward. And then the last point in our verbal update is on 4.4, that's St Peter's Road weeding update. So at the end of May, we had a group of volunteers, councillors, officers and residents down there as well, supported by the Portishead in Bloom volunteers as well. And the sun and the rain and more sun, and so we're looking for some more support really, because we're going to be back there Monday the 15th of July from 3 p.m. till 5 p.m. There's going to be some of these posters going through the doors of the volunteers, or supported by the volunteers, and some of the residents along St Peter's Road as well. So we'd be sort of happy to look for any other volunteers that we need for that continuation of the trial that we've got, which is supporting the assessment of using sort of different weed killers and doing it in a sort of a more natural method along St Peter's Road. Okay, that brings us to the end of section number 4, and then public participation, section number 5. So this is open to anybody in the room and to the one person that we've got online. So if there's anything, any public statement or questions relevant to Portishead, which we can answer here and now, we will be. If there's anything that we need to take away and then come back to you, we can do. So just open the floor to anything. I know you emailed today, didn't you, to join? Was there anything in particular that you wanted to?
I was just curious about me.
Ah, no problem at all. No, that's fine.
I can speak, but I don't know whether anybody else can.
I will speak, I'll get
Evening, Councillor Blackmore. I'd like to address these points to you personally as the chairman. I don't want any input from the other gentlemen in the room, apart from David Gunnell, only because I saw the behaviour at the last meeting. It was pretty atrocious, and I don't think it's acceptable to see what I saw on video. But I'll come on to that in a moment. I just want to make some points about the agenda, because still on the agenda it says that residents are welcome to join the meeting. Please book in advance. Is one of the things that we were told had been corrected, that there would be no requirement on the agenda for people to book in advance. It deters people from coming along to council meetings, so it shouldn't be on there. And it was confirmed by the chairman of, I think it was a full council meeting previously, that wouldn't be on there anymore.
Yeah, sorry,
Yeah,
Annette.
go
Yeah,
on.
I mean, we can definitely take that away. And
Yeah.
yes, I do recall we did say that.
Yes, you
Are
did.
we numbers wise? I mean, I know we've only got 6 seats up here, but we can fit far more people than that in. And if it comes to a point where we would have to turn people away at the door, then it would be a first come, first served
And
basis
that's all
on
that
that
needs to
then.
go on there,
Yeah.
but not that it's a requirement to
Yeah.
to actually book in
It's
advance.
always good if somebody's got a specific question that would help us being able to have more time to answer, then that's the only reason really, I guess.
I
But
appreciate
apart from
that.
that,
It just
that's it.
deters residents, and we've had a few issues with it. And also downstairs, there was nothing on the doors to when people come along who aren't used to coming along to council meetings, as to where they go. So
Okay.
you've got the front door, it looks all blacked off, you know, because obviously it's the hall downstairs is not in use.
Yeah.
But there's nothing to say the meeting's upstairs and which room it's in.
Yeah, no, we've got the signage pointing to the Wigan room, but in essence, yeah, we could take that on board and
Because
find
if
that.
people who come to Portishead, they're new, you know, some of us have been coming here for years, we know, but they don't know.
Yeah.
And they'll see the front door, see it locked, and they won't bother coming in. I think they've got the wrong name. Very quickly, before I get on to the other subjects, with regard to the Lake Grounds Visitor Survey, is that for North Somerset Council?
We wanted as a town council to have input into what it is that is being decided to do at the lake grounds, with the provision for the toilets and the refreshments and everything else. So we thought it was really important that we North Somerset didn't have the kind of the survey as part of what it was that they were doing, apart from something that they conducted last year. We wanted
You both did one, actually. You both did consultation surveys. So
yes.
I'm just a bit confused as to why we're now in another visitor survey when that time could be spent doing something more proactive, because you did a consultation, a very thorough one. So did North Somerset Council. I'm not saying that their survey was necessarily unbiased, a little bit like the parking survey, which was signed off by the executive. So I'm just a bit confused as to why Portishead Town Council are doing this.
It's the more from our perspective, the more input, the better, and it makes sure that we're actually capturing all, like I mentioned, all of the different demographics of the visitors that we've got, the various different times of the day, and over a span of the most recent visitors that we've got, and we just want to make sure that. Obviously, the consultation and the suggestions that were made by North Somerset last year are not necessarily appealing to everybody. You know, the lakeside.
I think you've got to look at the outcomes. So in order to do a survey, you've got to be able to express what the outcomes are going to be from that survey. And so if the outcomes aren't made clear, then the survey becomes a little bit sort of pointless.
It was it's a professional company that's actually been engaged to provide the survey, and they're also doing the analysis of it,
A consultation company.
of the
I'm happy
Sorry.
to say more about this. I mean, it's a collaboration between North Somerset Council and Worcester Town
But
Council.
who's paying for the consultation survey? Are we paying?
it's a shared cost.
Shared.
Okay, so we've done something before, but we're paying for it again. I do appreciate what you're saying, and I'll look into that a little bit more rather than waste your time tonight. But I'm a bit concerned that we've done one already, and now we're paying as a town through our precept to do it again, and we're also paying through our council tax. So that's a little bit concerning. Waste bins. I've got this real beef on waste bins because for years I've said in these meetings the waste bins are not fit for purpose. And they're not separating recycling. If we're supposed to be looking after our environment, we do not have bins that you're recycling. And 9 times out of 10, the bins that are in the high street, they come along, and we had it confirmed last time, they go to landfill. And that's not very good in this day and age.
I believe that the contract that is now in place actually does provide it doesn't separate it. It doesn't need it separated at source, i.e. in the bin, but it does get separated. But I'll confirm that with you.
I'd be very
Yeah.
grateful, because
Yeah.
I'd be very surprised if they do separate everything that's
Yeah.
in that bin.
Yeah.
Okay, and I'm a bit confused about something else. And I'm going to say this very respectfully to you, Councillor Blackmore, because I do think that you've presented yourself to the public very well. So on the agenda tonight, it says the residents' meeting. Now, we were led to believe via videos at the last meeting that the residents' meeting could not be discussed at town council meetings, which is the very place it should be discussed. So I'm curious as to why the residents' meeting is actually on the agenda. And if it is on the agenda, then can we talk about it?
I'm not aware of the restriction that we've got between the meetings. I thought if it was at my request that this remains as part of the community matters agenda, because it's the items that were brought up from the
If that's
residents at the
case,
meeting.
which is what we thought, if that's the case, then residents should be able to talk about the residents' meeting at town council meetings. Whether it was a Portishead residents' annual meeting or not makes no difference. Yet Mr. Smith at the last meeting and Mr. Maltby were actually not just stopped continuously from talking, but Mr. Smith was actually verbally abused, and the behaviour towards him by a gentleman who sat in this room was absolutely disgraceful. And I think that the majority of people who've seen that video cannot be failed to be shocked by it.
I will find out specifically what the requirement is as to whether we actually report on the Portishead residents' annual meeting at the meeting or a town council meeting. From my perspective here and now, I wanted this to be part of the agenda because it's important that we maintain the momentum of the actions that were cause for concern that the residents did actually bring up at the meeting.
So we can bring up items on the Portishead residents' meeting tonight. It's the community matters meeting.
Yeah, we're actually not allowed to update anything at the moment because of the restrictions that we've got on the elections.
It's not about political things, though. It's Purdah relates to political things that people are going for by-election.
Yeah,
That's not what this is about. This is about correcting the incorrect information that was given at the Portishead residents' meeting when it was actually hijacked.
We've as a town council, we've currently got vacancies that are being filled at the moment, so it could be deemed by people as being political. So that's why at the moment we're excluding any of the points that we've got, but we will address them come the next community matters
after the
meeting.
by-election, residents will be able to come along to the community matters meeting and raise the items that were of such concern to them at the Portishead residents' meeting.
That's
Can you put that in the minute, please?
yeah, that is
Okay.
that's why we wanted to maintain the momentum on there. Sorry, David.
Just to clarify, my understanding was that this meeting was the vehicle to take forward the issues
The
raised
action
by residents at the residents' annual meeting. So what has happened is a series of notes were taken from that meeting.
Well, they were taken by your party political leader. They weren't taken even by a resident. It was pretty disgraceful what went on at that meeting. I don't want Councillor Whitfield to actually interrupt on this, because it's really crucial that if, as a council, that meeting was hijacked and things were actually spoken about in that meeting that were incorrect, that Paul Gardner spoke about, I have to name him because he's your party leader. So residents have got a right to be able to come along and correct the things that he misled that meeting about.
Bear with me 1 second, Roger.
I don't think his input is actually relevant to this.
I would like to come back to the chair on this.
Okay. At that meeting, what we wanted to do was to prepare an update to the residents. We're not as accessible, and we're not as we don't update the public as much as we should do, which is why we're trying to take the engagement forward.
No, I appreciate all of that, but
so
that's separate. But we're talking specifically about the Portsoke Residents' annual meeting, and let's be fair, few residents were able to talk at that meeting because not only did time run out, people walked out of that meeting in disgust as what was going on. And I think it's something that does need to be raised. We can't just brush it under the carpet, and we also can't leave it for another year to actually raise those items.
I don't really intend to.
Having had the barraging against Mr. Smith and Mr. Maltby at the last meeting to say that people couldn't talk about it, it's very surprising to see it on the agenda tonight.
Yeah.
I wanted to highlight that hypocrisy and the irony about it. So I think it's very important it goes in the minutes, that people can, at the next Community Martyrs meeting after the by-election, come along and talk about it. Not that I don't think they should be able to talk about it now, because it isn't relevant to Purdah and it's not relevant to the by-election. It's something that's really important. And if that meeting can be hijacked in such a way to give wrong information out to the public, to abuse the public, then the public should be allowed to come along and correct those items in a timely fashion, not when it suits the council.
No, look.
And I know you're in a difficult position, but you are a member of the same party.
I personally believe we should be engaging with all of our residents all of the time. That is my belief.
I appreciate what you're saying, actually. I think you come across as a personable chair. You really do. You've got nothing to be worried about. You've come across really well. It's not your problem, actually, what happened at those previous meetings.
I'm aware, but
do you not think that's enough, Annette?
Could you just keep out of it, Councillor Whitfield? Councillor Blackmore's managing this really well. You keep out of it.
And then you have the chair in tears.
No,
I don't think that's
no,
acceptable.
That's not caused by us.
No,
we're speaking. Thank you, Councillor Blackmore. We're speaking, and in fact, she's actually relating better than you have ever done. You're relating really well, and which is why I praised you at the very beginning. So it's not down to the public, Councillor Whitfield, as to why Councillor Blackmore's upset. She's probably upset because of what happened at that residents' meeting and what's been happening since.
No, I'm sorry.
Don't put words in people's mouths, Annette.
Personally, I am in a difficult position, but I'm upset at the moment for personal reasons.
Right.
Thank you. I'm sorry.
No, I appreciate that, what you're saying. And I would like it made clear that nobody in the public gallery has caused that upset, which is what the gentleman over here was actually trying to say. I appreciate what you're saying. If it goes in the minutes, then that will be fantastic, because we do need to correct what was said in the meeting. I would just like to ask one thing to finalise that. After the conduct, and again, this is not really in your remit, but it's a Community Matters meeting. But after the conduct of the last meeting, I would like to ask Mike Johnson, is he going to apologise to Ken Smith?
No.
I think
because that's what a lot of the residents in this town expect you to do.
I'll need to ask you to stop at that point, because obviously that is that's a completely different situation that's being dealt
It
with.
relates
But
to public participation, you see, and
It-
so
it-
at the last meeting,
it's a-
when that resident was trying to raise things that were pertinent to the residents' meeting, the aggression that was shown towards him by
we
councillors sat in this room was unacceptable. I just want that on record, please.
Yeah,
And I'll actually email you separately about some of the other
yeah,
things.
no, please.
And I'm
please
sorry
do.
you're having personal things. We appreciate that because you're coming across as someone who is, as I said already, personable, you're relating to the public, and we understand that because we know how upsetting it can be when things go on outside and inside these meetings. And that's the human side of the council that we like to see. So you're doing a good job. I think sadly, there are others who aren't. But thank you very much, Councillor Blentmore.
No, thank you for your time, Annette. We are all here to do the best jobs that we can. We truly are.
Sadly, I don't believe that for some of the other ones sat in this room, but I know that you are trying. And also, it's not long since you've been a councillor, and there's been a lot of upheaval in this council for various reasons. And what we wouldn't want to see, we've already lost two fantastic councillors, Councillors Aldridge and Churchill, and not because of anything that the public was saying to them, but because of other reasons that we know about. We would hate to see another councillor like you leave because of other things that are going on within your political party. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Are we able to?
Two of us here wanted to just say something.
Okay, if yeah, I'm fine. Thank you. Yep.
Okay, I just wanted to point out that like probably everybody in this room, Mr. Gardner is a resident of Portishead. I'm a resident of Portishead. There's a lot of opinion been spoken about tonight, not so much fact. But thank you, Chair.
Well, I have to come back on that.
Well, you don't.
No, I do.
No, you don't.
Excuse me.
You don't have to.
I do, because this is exactly what's happening. I wasn't talking about fact. I was relating to you as a resident, expressing concerns about a survey, about the bins and everything else, about questions regarding the Portishead residents meeting. I wasn't discussing facts. If you want facts, I can give them to you. But when we can talk about the Portishead residents meeting, believe me, I will be here with the facts. But tonight was not about facts, it was asking questions, and you very kindly answered those questions, so thank you.
Thank you. Are we able to move on, David, or do you? Yeah, okay, thank you. Okay, so we'll just move on to agenda item number 6, which is the minutes of the previous meeting. Sorry, that is something that we need to vote on, isn't it? Okay, I don't know, Mike, if you have had time to review the minutes. I know the rest of us. Yeah. Okay. Okay. Can I have a?
Just to say, I there were a couple.
There was 2 typos. Yeah, I'd actually noticed those as well. So they've been corrected. So the minutes that I will sign will be reflected those there. So can I have a proposer? Yeah, David, and I can second that. I can second that, and all in favour?
Yeah, 10 minutes.
No, that's fine, but we've got 3 of us, so we're fine. Mike was in attendance at that one, so okay, thank you. Leave them out. I'll sign those. Agenda item number 7, related to the sculpture trade leaflets. Is I guess a bit of a good news story actually, in that we've run out again. So what we're looking to do is actually request the approval for the cost of the printing of another 1,000 sculpture trade leaflets. That's £280 plus the VAT, and these will, just to confirm, be the ones that are printed both sides and folded, ready to hand out as well. Martin, I know he's obviously not with us at the moment, but we've got at least another 4 or 5 organisations as far as into Bristol and up into the port as well, that are actually going to take the leaflet to improve what we've got here from a sort of a tourism point of view. So can we have do we need to vote on that? Yeah. Do we need to have a proposer for that?
Have to propose it.
Yep, so Mike's proposing. And second, and all in favour? Yep. So that's all good. Next agenda item is number 8, which is regarding sort of what will be or what will end up being the Portishead Play Park. So the officers at North Somerset Council have engaged specifically with Jenny at the moment to get this off the ground. So Play Park itself is something regarding sort of just it's a volunteer-led but supported organisation promoting happy, healthy communities via the power of play. So what they're looking to achieve is to get this up and running for 90 minutes of sort of free community play every Saturday morning. So at the moment, the park that has been chosen is Blackdown Park. So the kind of the promotion in that sense has gone out to try and get sort of volunteers organised, and we know that we've got 3 volunteers that have signed up at the moment, but realistically we're looking for more. We're looking for at least 6 volunteers just to maintain the momentum. So it's about that promotion again, really. I think if we again sort of, you know, we can post it on our social media and we can engage with the youth club and we can find out whether we've got anybody else. But we have got a sort of a requirement to set up a very small group of councillors. I will join Jenny because this is literally around the corner from my house. So we'll see if we can actually sort of, you know, get anything else up and running with sort of locals from sort of from my area as well. But what we do need to do, it was evident to me by a few comments that I've seen on social media that there's not necessarily been any engagement with any local residents at the moment. So they were looking for some more information in regards to the times and schedule. And Blackdown Park, where it's been decided to be run as well, obviously there's no parking anywhere near there. Everything is a dead end in effect, completely covered by residents' cars. So the most local car parking facility that we've got will either be the one at the top of Avon Way or actually behind Applebee's there. So we kind of need to take that into consideration. And as I said, be it that it's my local park and I've taken all of my children down there at some point over the last years, I feel that there might be limited disabled access to the park as well. The entrance is very steep. So I just want to make sure that that's been taken into account. And if it means that Merlin, you know, it'd be great to have something up top rather than down on the lake grounds or anything like that. But if it means that there are other parks that we might need to wait in terms of whether it being a better location or not, then
It'd be worth talking with the deputy clerk because she knows our parks inside out.
yeah, she does, doesn't she?
Yeah.
So I don't. It was already decided when it was handed to us to communicate. So yeah, we'll just go through and understand that a little bit better, and just see what you know what the rationale was. But yeah, even if it's not this, it would still be good to get something sort of up and running there. Sorry, Mike.
Is this a new initiative or has it been running in the past?
It's been running all over the country in the past. So
Oh, it's a national.
Yeah, it is.
Oh, I
Yeah,
see.
yeah.
So it involves officers coming in from North Somerset or some team from North Somerset with equipment and other items to engage the children.
Yeah, it's not any kind of childcare facility or
No.
anything like that. The parents are sort of encouraged to partake, but definitely stay. It's not somewhere to kind of drop the kids off and come back in 90 minutes. So yeah, you know, there's all of the safeguarding and everything there. All of the points are actually there's a link on the agenda, but all of the points are there. But yeah, in effect, yeah, it's to see if we can get some more volunteers. It would be great to get more than the optimum 6, to be honest. but yeah, there's a play leader role and some other bits and pieces and training and everything else which is provided. So yeah, so we definitely support the initiative. But it's the volunteer sort of sign up really.
Because obviously at this stage you can't predict how many children are going to turn up.
No, exactly. Yeah. Obviously, the more the better. But yeah, it's we can get some more information regarding the take up, based on the age range and everything, and some of the other activities. It doesn't sound like it's geared to one age group. It's across the board in that sense. So yeah, all good, David.
Children, parents, grandparents,
Mhm.
all sorts.
Everybody.
I guess we ought to just let the local schools know if they don't know already. That'd be quite a good source.
Yep.
I'm just aware how the scouts struggle to get volunteers to help out. It's just going to be really difficult, but you just need to put it on the town council.
We'll
Facebook
we'll do that with Nikki as well. And part of our sort of our volunteers from the council perspective as well. So
Do you have a date for the first kick-off on this one?
not until we've got the volunteer numbers and the training. So it's a bit of chicken and egg at the moment. Yeah. Okay, and the next agenda item, again, sort of related to our younger residents, agenda item number 9. So there are some changes to the home to school transport policies, which are coming about due to guidance updates from the Department of Education. So that consultation which North Somerset is running, it opened on the 3rd of June, so it unfortunately just missed the our agenda for the last community matters meeting, but it's running until the 15th of July. There's a whole pack on that line there, so if anybody isn't online and can't review that, I'm sure we can print out some copies that we can keep here. All of the questions there's 14 or 15 questions to answer, but it details things like whether children would migrate from sort of taxis into a wheel sponsorship and grants that can be supplied, or grants is probably the wrong word, isn't it? So initiatives in essence to get children travelling to school via other means, and it covers both mainstream and the SEN sort of routes as well. So as I said, I will be pushing that to the youth club, so they are all aware of the consultation, and obviously if we can get it in as quickly as possible to the schools as well to issue through their newsletters, given that we are creeping it to the end of term as well. So we said as a council, if there's anything to reflect from any feedback that we gain, we will answer or respond to the consultation as well. So if there is anything that anybody needs to input on, then let us know. And there's not a separate council consultation in this instance, but we can answer it as an interested party.
I had a quick look at the questionnaire and the sort of categories of respondent to teacher, parent, that sort of category.
Yeah, the very last one was answering as another interested party. So, but yeah, it's limited in terms of what we can reflect from a council perspective. But okay, agenda item number 10, which is the Wellbeing Coordinator update. I don't have that one in my pack, but we've got it here, so that was just to sort of summarise, just a point to note regarding the Knife Angel outreach. We are trying to reorganise that for later this year.
It's looking like October.
So we'll keep that update on the agenda just to keep people up to date with that.
They've given us the flag. Are we happy to raise it on?
Oh, okay. Yeah, no problem. What's that? Is that on the back? Ah, right. Okay. Yeah, no problem. Do we need to cover this in terms of a vote, or is it just
a general that you're happy that it will go up?
Yeah, okay. Yeah, no problem. So just in conclusion on the Knife Angel event, as I said, we'll keep that on the agenda. And once that's done, it's still going to be hosted at the football club, where it intended to be. But we want to make use of all of the age groups coming back there as well. So October seems to be the best one. And as Wendy's just pointed out, the LGBT North Somerset LGBT Plus Forum have provided a flag for the council to raise on the anniversary of Stonewall, which is this coming Friday, so 28th of June, to demonstrate our solidarity for equality, diversity and inclusion. So that's just a point to note really, that we'll be raising that flag on Friday.
Can I just ask on that one point, due to the fact that certain other councils in the area may have fallen foul of certain issues, have we checked that the flag that we're being raised is one that doesn't require planning permission?
It's fine.
Great, because it seems that a few councils, in fact, around the country have fallen foul of that one.
Yeah, oh, I know that. Good catch there, Roger. Thank you. Okay, just checking. Obviously, the full report is available to all. I'm not sure whether there's anything else, sort of, apart from obviously all of the stuff that Laura still is involved with. I don't think there's necessarily anything else of note that we need to place on there. And our Claire, our signposter update is on there as well. One thing I did mention, or I did see on that, is the numbers for library are less so than obviously the Beacon. Yeah. So I don't know whether we, if we might be able to get Claire's feedback as to what might help those visitor numbers, and if there's anything that we can do to kind of support the time that she's spending there. And whether perhaps it could be advertised in the Beacon on a Friday. I don't know, you know, sort of crossing across sort of all of the people that are looking for that sort of support from CANS, etc. there as well. Okay, so that's it for agenda point 11, and agenda point 12 is the date for the next meeting, which is Wednesday the 24th of July. So it will be in the same meeting room here at 7:30. And I think that's everything for us. So we'll close the meeting at, so are we 8:12. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Emma.